You see, the position has been taken by the leadership, and I think they're probably right about this, is that there are certain set procedures in the constitution of the ANC as to how you expel a member. That it is necessary for the ANC itself to respect that constitution so that it does not behave in any manner, in a lawless manner, in terms of its own laws. And therefore the decisions to take him to disciplinary committee and so on, that's what's prescribed in the constitution. It's not cowardice. It's that I think that loyalty to its own constitution is important in the same way that we must also be loyal to the national constitution. So I think the position that the ANC leadership has taken on this, in terms of procedure, is correct. I don't know, the ANC will, that question will be answered by the people. The ANC will go to the people to say, you know who we are, this is what we want to do, this is what we say in our manifesto. We recognize the weaknesses in ourselves. This is what we're going to do to correct them. And so it's the people who will answer that question.
Yes, Mr. President, we understand that your position is that in public will have to speak the truth. That's part of what makes it difficult for you to come and campaign outright for the ANC. How are you feeling about that right now that you've just hit a half second across the
No, see, as I've said this, that I've been a member of the ANC for over 60 years. And I think as a member of the ANC, I've got an obligation. When the ANC goes out to the population and say, please elect us in order that we do the following, I think it's a responsibility of all members of the ANC, including myself, to respond to that. And that's all we're doing.
President Zuma, it's a PR exercise, you know. I think he's doing these things for what they are. Like, he will never accept to be a member of parliament. And I don't need him to say that. You ought to know on your own that once President Zuma signs oath of office, as not oath of office, that thing that they say, help me God, there in once he takes an oath as a member of parliament, he has accepted a junior position. Therefore, he loses the benefits of a former president. Not after spending a day. Once he says, help me, God, he'll be asking God to help him for those cars to go away outside. The whole motorcade, once he does that, the whole motorcades leave. So, who will want to do that? I don't think. And now, they're really playing into his hands, and he's got them. So you saying I'm being friends with President Zuma, no, I have nothing to do with him. They are fighting each other there. It works for me. Let me go this way. So a woman president is inevitable. We almost had, by the way, Phumzile. President Mbeki, when he was fighting with Zuma, went to Bloemfontein and said, we need a female president before Polokwane. And then he goes to Polokwane. He forgets it's not a female. He stands himself. After he said he wants a female president, and no one called him a flip-flopper, by the way. He's an intellectual. He's a thinker. Right? President Mbeki, the way he was so powerful, we feared that guy. When that guy walked into the corridors of Kosas, he knows we used to run like this. You know, a president you must run to. We run opposite direction, hiding. That if he asks you some difficult question, how are you going to navigate it? Had President Mbeki said Phumzile must be president of South Africa, he was going to write about it. If you don't hear him, he was going to write every Friday about it until you hear him. He was going to argue it intellectually and politically as to why. And with the power he had, we're going to accept it. President Mbeki was the most influential person, even when we went to remove him in Polokwane in the Youth League. No one removed President Mbeki out of hatred. No one removed President Mbeki because we said he doesn't have capacity. We refused a third term. And that was so scary to us because of his proximity with President Mugabe. And we're like, this guy who has a 2/3 says, I'm going to be president of the ANC. The constitution of the country doesn't allow third term. But the guy's got 2/3. He leaves Polokwane straight to Cape Town. He tells them, amend this thing and allow limitless presidents. What are you going to do? We were against the third term. And no one capable was ready to challenge him. That's how much he was feared. Then Zuma said, I've got nothing to lose. That's how he became president. Because we had no one. Emmanuel could stand. Phumzile could not stand. And look at what President Mbeki did to Phumzile now. She went to join COPE. And then she came back to the ANC. And you must know, in the ANC, once you go outside, when you go back, they say Phumzile, but which one? That one of COPE. So it's like when you leave the EFF, when you go back to the ANC, we say, but which one? The one of EFF. You are still called by your previous poll. So she will never, I can tell you now, she will never emerge. We went to have a meeting there with the ANC. Very senior comrades of the ANC were sent there, including, I remember Bulela Ncuga was there and others. We agreed on expropriation of land without compensation. When we go back to Parliament, having collected this and agreed with them, they bring an amended motion that we will expropriate land which belongs to the state and rotten land. What do we do with the rotten land? Because what rotten land is not those things of wet land. And then how do you expropriate that which you have? And then they say, we must vote for that. We said, no. And then they went out and said, they voted against expropriation of land. They don't finish it. They don't say, this is what we were proposing. They just say expropriation of land, but they don't explain what the amendment entailed. It's like Zuma when he went to vote for the killing of Gaddafi in the UN Security Council. He came back and said, I never voted for that. I voted for no-fly zone and stopped there. When he said, I voted for no-fly zone and stopped there, Floyd added that you voted for no-fly zone and any other means necessary. So that any other means necessary is what killed Gaddafi, and you voted for it. So you ought to listen to the detail of it in order to appreciate where do these people come from. Not once have we ever compromised on the expropriation of land without compensation.